Okay, we finna start. I'm gonna check my phone, make sure I've got picture today, because I didn't have none yesterday. And then we're gonna get to it. Oh yeah, okay. We up. All right, looks like we got the chat up and everything. So if anybody's watching live, give me a holler. I'll try to keep looking on it. My buddy David tried to tell me yesterday I didn't have any volume, and I always got busy turning and I didn't look in the chat. I usually do. And anyway, got to turn this volume down. All right, so this is what we're going to make today. French style rolling pin. This is the one I made yesterday that nobody could see. So I sell these and give them to friends and family, so can't have too many, so we're going to make another one. So give me some good practice. So this is what we're going to make. It's out of the same type of wood it was yesterday. It's black walnut. I got it between centers uh, with tension drives here. Very safe way to turn. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this whole thing around. I'm going to use this here old Continental spindle galv to turn, and we're going to turn it around. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to take this half, then we'll move the two left over and take the other half. All right, so we turn this thing, make sure we're not hitting anything on your tool. Always, before you start your lathe, check everything, turn everything, make sure everything's tight. If you'll do that, you won't have you'll be way on your way to not having any bad accidents or anything. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the lathe on, and I keep mine down to 0. And I keep mine down to 0, and then we'll ease it up. Now this thing's only 2 inches. This piece of wood is 21 inches long by 2 inches square. So we can turn it pretty fast. So I'm going to turn it about 1,800 RPM. And we're going to make sure our tool's anchored on the tool rest before we drain into the wood. We're going to ease into the wood, and we're going to raise the handle, hit the bevel, and we're going to move across. I'm going to leave it right here for just a second. I'll change it for you a better look. But I want you to see my body movement. I want to finish where I'm comfortable with this tool. So I'm finishing here. So I want to start where I'm uncomfortable. So I don't want to run this tool back and forth with my hand like this, because you can't get a good even cut. We're going to lock it into my hip right here, and I'm going to bend my knees back right here. I'm going to get on the bevel, and then I'm going to shift my whole body that way. Same thing again. A lot of people call this the turner's dance. It's back, and you can go back and forth with it. That way you'll get a lot more consistent cut. All right. We're getting pretty close right there. I'm going to go ahead and change it, the camera angle over so we get y'all can get a little closer look. I just wanted you to see that hip movement. Still nobody in the chat. So we still got a little way to go round right there. But I'm going to leave it like that. We're going to come back. I'll come back in a minute and finish that off with it. All right, we moved the tool there, so we want to make sure we check it again. Make sure we're not hitting anything. And since I know the speed's all right, I didn't turn it back down. I know it's not going to hit anything. I'm going to come back at the same speed. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to move this thing back and forth. The tool rest is just a little tall. But we're going to cut our lathe off. Drop our tool rest down just a little bit. Since I done took some of this off, we can move it a little closer. You always want to keep your tool rest as fairly close as you can, but without it hitting. I like about a 1/4 inch most of the time. As you turn, you can go farther and farther. Dang, bam, people calling. All right. We had a piece chip off right here. I knew it was going to chip off. I had a crack right there. But that's okay. We're going to taper this down to just a 1 inch, so we can get rid of all of that. That won't be a problem. All right. So this is my smallest end down here, so we're going to bring it all. We're going to bring it all down to this right here. This is a parting tool. It's just going to make a little groove in there. And I'm going to take these right here will fit in that groove. And when it gets that depth, they're going to drop down in there. And we're going to do this across here to get this the same depth. We're going to start about right here. Put it in. Drop our calipers in. All right, that's good there. That's good there. They're real close. We ain't going to have to go too deep. That's pretty close there. All right. Now we're going to bring these down to that. We're doing the same thing with our hip. We got pretty much all the bad spots out there now, so we're going to start right here. We're going to take this down from there to here. I feel a little hump right there, so we're going to start and we're going to even this off. All right, that feels pretty good right there. I don't know what to do with my tape measure. Oh, I put it in my back pocket. There we go. All right. So we brought it back down to about 1.5 inches, and that's what I want. Now we're going to swing over here. We're going to bring this down. We'll need just a little bit of work. All right, we can just a little bit on this end. All right. That's pretty darn good right there to start with. Big chip off right there too. All right. So now we got to get our size. This piece of wood is 21 inches long. Actually, this is about 21 and a half. But we're going to go about 1.25 inches. So we want a 20 inch. I'm a phone. We'll go 3/4. We're going to take this to 20. Then we're going to go to the middle, which is 10 inches. That's going to be our center. And then from 5 inches on each side of that, that's where we're going to start tapering our handles down. To 15 there. So when we put it there, between them two marks, we got 10 inches. I have my hand in a way you can't see that, can you? But we got 10 inches there between them two marks. And that's going to be the rolling surface. Okay, now them 10 inches in between there. Now we want to make sure these things right here is perfectly flat. So I'm going to put me some pencil marks right here. And I'm going to take this 80 grit piece of sandpaper on this board. We call this a sanding board. And we're going to make sure this thing is really flat. We're going to turn our speed down a little bit. We're just going to keep working it back and forth. And to knock the dust off the sandpaper a little bit, we're going to turn it over to a good side. Ah, we got one little mark right there we need to work on. Look like we might be a little high right there. Okay? And to check it, we're going to take our 12-inch ruler and we lay right up top there and look pretty flat. I want this a little flat spot right in the middle right there. We're going to put a little pressure in the middle. There's the touch. All right. Oh, yeah. I got it there. All right. Now we got to go back to our marks. We're going to go back 3/4. And 20. From there, we're going to come up 5, 5. That's going to leave us our 10 inches in the middle. Now we're going to make us a couple lines right here. Move this one over. Uh, I keep dropping my tape measure. Anyway, supposed to put it in that back pocket. I'm going to put this parting tool up. I'm going to get me this beading and parting tool right here. I'm going to use that. I'm just going to take away some of this waste. Got to find my 1-inch mark over here. 3/4 mark. Hang on a second. Boom. I'm going to take some of this waste around, but we want to go down. We want to taper this thing from the 1.5 inches down to about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to set my verniers here. Three-quarter. Man. Make sure these things are set right. There we go. That's perfect right there. All right, so now we're going to taper from here to there. So we're going to start on this end. So all we want to cut down here, I need to turn my speed up for my sanding speed, about 2,000 RPM. And we just want a nice straight taper. There's a little hump in it right there, so well, all right, that's pretty good on that end. Turn the lathe off. Move us down to this end. We're going to want to do the same thing down here. We want to take some of this waste away. Get a little big. All right, we're pretty close right now. And now we're going to bring this down. We're getting close. Ain't that about do it there? Yeah. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing with the sanding board that we did in the center. I like to do this. These are pretty flat, but I like to do this right here. Some people say, oh, you folks will do it all with the gouge, and I guess that's okay if that's what they want to do. But I like doing this. You got to sand it anyway, and this will help keep it nice and flat. Now we're going to take it off the sanding block, and we're going to use the sandpaper, and we're just going to kind of blend this curve in right here where it started to taper. Bring it all together. All right, I got the dust collector on it. This hose don't cover everything, but if I put the big bucket on there, you can't see a lot of times from the different views. So let's chicken up most of it. All right, that feels good there. All right, now we're going to start with some 120. And we're not shaping now. All we want to do now is just clean up them 80 sanding grit marks. So we're going to go all the way to about 320 with it. That little knot, little bitty knot right there, but that's fine. It's nice and solid. When you're sanding on the lathe, a lot of times after you sand with the lathe, you want to take and sand with the grain. Especially at your first width. When you get up to the 220 or 320, it's not as important. Them little surface scratches won't show up as much. All right, here's a piece of 220. You won't see near as much. Whoa, got away from me. All right. Pushed it a little too tight. All right, it won't take much with the 220, just get them 120 off there. And now we got our final, our 320. Maybe knock some of this dust off of it. All righty. Now I got to fish my tape measure off. I'll be right back. It rolled out there on the floor. I got it. I don't look like we've had anybody in the chat today. Mr. David comes up a lot. I guess he's busy today. I think he got. That's going to be our finished end right there. We're going to take a little of this down. We'll make a V cut right here. We're going to we're going to round this corner over right here. Just a nice little simple round over. Feels pretty good right there. Just hit it again with a 320 right there. All right, got to leave a little bit, it'll come off on it. Now we're going to move down here to this end. We're going to measure out 20 inches. And our mark. Now we're going to move our tool rest a little closer. All right, I'm going to use another tool. I'm going to get my little skew out here. I didn't do anything with the skew today. So you got to raise the tool rest for there. We're going to do a little V cut right here. And again, we're going to ride it, the bevel, round that end over. Take this down a little bit more. All right, we're going to go ahead and re-hit this. This is the 120. This is the 220. This is the 320. Okay. Now we're going to part this off. We're going to turn the brake speed just a little bit down. I'm going to get me a V. Let me get my little V groove started here. All right. I'm going to do this left-handed. All right, nubs off. All right, that fell off right there. We just got that little hole right there. You can see it. And this end we're gonna cut off with the saw. I got a little bit of Japanese pull saw. Put it right here. We're gonna just cut it off right here. There we go. All right. Let me change this view back. Camera one here. Let me stick up a couple tools to get these things out of my way. Move this out of our way. All right. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this helmet off. Getting sweaty under there. We're gonna put the dust collector about right there. Now I got this little sanding disc hooked into my chuck right here. First off, we gotta do is we gotta get this drive center out. This is called a knockout bar. And we put it in through the other end of our head start right there, and that just knocks out. Got a Morse taper on it. It just fits in it to taper, and it's just a friction fit. And knock that out. We're gonna screw this chuck onto it right here. This is a piece of 180 sandpaper. And we're just gonna clean up this end with it. We just want to clean up that end right there. And then we just taper this back off just a little bit. Let's shape it up just a little bit. Clean it up good. And then we can take a piece of 320 right here. We just go over the end of it and all good. I feel like it might need a little 120 on it. I'm gonna hit it just a little lick with this right here. Then we're gonna go back with it. Yeah. All right, that's good on that end. Then the same on this end. We just want to get that little hole out there, and that's about gone now. I know we're gonna just spin her around a little bit, even her up. All right. And then we're going to hit her with a 320. All right. I'm going to take this 320 and then go back over there real quick. Real nice and smooth. Now we're going to make it look real pretty. I do all my food, everything I do with food, I use food safe mineral oil. So we're going to take some of this food safe mineral oil, we're going to squirt it right here. And here we're going to turn our, ooh, look at that. Turn a pretty, pretty cup. Look at that walnut, pretty. Walnut's my best selling wood. Everybody likes it. If I take light colored wood somewhere, they won't sell. Cherry and walnut, my two best sellers. All right, we'll just let that soak in until it, if I see any dry spots, I'll go back and fix them, and then I'll in about 3 or 4 hours or sometime over, I'll leave them overnight, but today I'll do it this afternoon. I'll just wipe all the excess off, and it'll be ready to go. All right, there we go. The French style rolling pin. Everybody buy them, love them. They like them a lot better than them old big old ones our grandmas used. All right. So that's it for today, everybody. As always, thank you for coming. And always remember, I want you to be motivated, dedicated, and fired up about wood turning. Hoorah! Da da left, right, left to right. Da da left, right, left.